As always, I am touched and grateful and thrilled to see you all. I have to say, honestly, Veronica gave one of the most beautiful Dharma talks I've ever heard in my life this morning, right, Dana? Yeah. Sorry you missed it. But I think it will be on our YouTube channel, right? Because you did, yeah. And it's interesting because it really is in line with what I've been talking about this week, which is, one of the, kind of giggled a little bit in the beginning of this whole shutdown about, I hope that, it's not a funny thing, but hopefully, we won't have amnesia once we enter back into, things starting to open again. We won't forget what it was and what it is that we've moved through, and that desire to love each other in a different way and find an emotional connection to each other in a different way, and how it is that we have now started to move back into that, place of shifting back to reopening certain places that we start to now go back to. And I have already found that sense of division happening as opposed to unity. And that idea of, how that we then begin to move into this new phase, and with this new phase comes judgment. Of course, where Veronica took it this morning was much more of that sense of our emotions that are connected to what's happening in the world right now, and how that as we find ourselves getting angry, or find ourselves getting judgmental, or find ourselves moving into whatever emotional reaction we have to anything that is surfacing now. And I hate to say it like this, but I do believe things are going to get very emotionally charged and challenging in these next months ahead of us. And when we choose to point the finger outside of us, or choose to assume someone else is the bad guy and we're the good guy, that we never take that time to go into ourselves and see where that's triggering us, where that's triggering our emotions, our anger, our sadness, our grief, our sense of right or wrong. And I guess part of our choice as yoga practitioners is to transmute everything that happens to us back to a place of love, or back to a place. And it doesn't mean you don't protest. It doesn't mean you don't stand up for what you believe in. We're not complacent. What's the word? Complacent. We're not sitting back and just saying, okay, we're going to love from afar. Like, that's not the yogi's path at all. It's to stand up. Why in so many of our sacred texts is about being the warrior, being the goddess, standing up to fight in the Gita. All of this is about what we need to do. What is our form of work that we're doing in the world, right? Because in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, when you do not act, that is an action you choose to take. When you do not act, that is an action you choose to take. So first and foremost, can you move back into yourself? And can you see where anger lives in you, or judgment lives in you? And can you look at the fact that each one of us is going to have a different experience around how it is to reconnect back into the world, right? And sending out that survey, I'm so grateful. I kind of expected what it was that was going to be the answers, is that not too many of us are ready to come back into this really big group setting, but we are continuing to love in such a big way. So go ahead and close your eyes if you haven't yet. Ram Dass reminded me of this wonderful definition or translation of Namaste. It's one I used to use all the time. He says, Namaste means, I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the place in you of love, of light, of truth and peace. And I honor the place in you where, if you are in that place in you and I am in that place in me, there is only one of us. And that might be hard to feel when there's someone else doing something that you in yourself feel you would never do. But can you come back into yourself, heal yourself, work on those emotions that you hold trapped in your body, so that we can always return back to love? Bring your hands together at your heart center. Soften your shoulders. Relax through your breath. These times are really hard, you guys. I don't have to tell you that. Emotionally. You know, why is it, we always say, why is it I haven't done much of anything, but I'm exhausted? Because emotionally, these are really difficult times. They always have been. But here we are. We choose to really look at what's in front of us and do the work we need to do. Look at ourselves and find ourselves to be connected, interconnected to each other. And the sound of Om is a very powerful sound that does that. The Mandukya Upanishad, the entire Upanishad, the entire teaching on Om. Why? Because it's a universal sound that reconnects us, it reminds us, I am you and you are me. Inhale. Inhale. And inhale. Within the sound of Om, there's a beginning. Ah, there's a middle. Ooh, there's an ending. And in those three phases, each one of those is exactly who we are. And there's a word in Sanskrit called samsara, just translated as wandering. As we wander through this lifetime, each moment we're transforming. Beginning, middle, end. And the fourth sound of Om is a place that sends us back so beautifully to the still point. To that point where we connect back with each other. And there's no difference. Release your hands, open your eyes. And come onto your hands and knees and sit back into child's pose, please. Breathe deeply into this body and this mind. Trust in this vehicle, this temple of body and mind. Trust it to guide you. And trust it to be that vehicle that you can question and confront and ask, what are these emotions that I'm feeling? And can I go back into myself to discover my anger, my judgment, my frustration? And even though each and every one of us continue to come back to that place of oneness, we also understand and believe in diversity. In that diversity, we all have a voice. Come on up to your hands and knees. We'll start to do some hip circles here, just working in that lower part of the body, although of course the shoulders get involved too. The neck move as well. I wrote something. You must understand the language of love, where it's written on your breath, it's translated through your eyes, and experienced through your interaction in the world. We must understand the language of love, where it's written on our breath, translated through our eyes, and experienced through our interaction in the world. We have a right to act. And not acting is also an action. Go the other direction if you haven't yet. Breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the nose. Beautiful, you guys. And then find yourself moving into downward facing dog. And then bend your knees deeply here. Deeply bend your knees. And send your hips high to the sky. Keep your knees bent. And elongate through your lower back. Draw your rib cage in. Soften through the heart. Your emotions matter. What's coming out of you matters. And when you take a look at those emotions, you can work with them. Push those legs to straight. Notice if when you push the legs to straight, you get bound up in your lower back. And if that's true, bend your knees again. Yeah, I've been having a lot of lower back stuff myself. So letting yourself release from those straight legs and then pressing those hips super high to the sky. And then go ahead and walk your feet to your hands, standing forward bend. And again, bend your knees deeply. Take your inner knees wide. Let your outer shins draw in and push your hips high to the sky with your knees bent, with your knees bent. Push your hips high. Gorgeous, you guys. Good, and then turn your feet wide and sit into squat. If you cannot come into squat, come into chair, please. And breathe into that space of the hips, outer hips, inner thighs. Beautiful, you guys. Good. Place your hands on the floor, standing forward bend. Place your hands on your hips, press down through your legs, rise up to stand. Bring your hands to your heart center. And begin breath of fire. Inhale, exhale through the nose, pump the navel center. Inhale, exhale through the nose, pump the navel center. Your fire center. What divides us and what unites us. What helps us remember that we matter and that all beings matter. And where do we point the finger? Them. They're the wrong ones. We're the right ones. And how does that serve us? Pump that navel center. Inhale, exhale, pump the navel. Not only do you get energy moving here, but you purify the blood, help release toxins. And exhale fully. Inhale deeply. Exhale the hands alongside the body. Keep the eyes closed and just feel. I've told you this from the beginning, you guys, when this first started happening, that something big is happening. There's a transforming happening. There's a change happening. And it's going to feel a little icky, scary, don't know what's going on. But you got to return home. You got to keep coming inside yourself. Eyes open, inhale the arms to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Send your left leg back behind you, please. Nice long lunge. Right knee stays bent. Right knee on top of your ankle. And then bring both hands inside and go for hip circles here. Circle those hips. Keep breathing in and breathing out. Now take your right hip and press it wide to the right. Push it wide. Now keep that right hip as wide to the right as you can go, and then feel like your left hip is pushing to the left, but don't let the right one fall in. So you're pushing your right hip as far to the right as you can, and you're pressing your left hip to the left. Now tuck your chin into your chest and round. Pull your belly up. Keep your legs powerful. Gorgeous, you guys. And then step that leg back, right leg back and up behind you, downward facing dog. Split, right leg back and up behind you. Good. Bring your heel to your butt and then open up, stack that right hip on top of that left. Gorgeous, you guys. And then step your right foot forward again, soft landing, and then walk to the left until you come to the center of your mat. Spin, spin, spin. Both feet are parallel to each other. And then you can play a little bit here. You can bend one knee, move toward one knee. You can then bend the other knee, move toward the other. You could even move and bend one knee and then lift the other heel. You could do figure eights with your hips here, will feel nice. Keep scooping that low belly, drawing that navel in. Nice, you guys. Allison, so good to see you. Good to see everybody, but I haven't seen Allison for a while. Good, then come back to center, straighten those legs and bow. Remember the outer shins are drawing in as support, but the inner knees are going wide and the inner thighs are going wide, so the sit bones spread. And open and close your mouth. This practice of asana, right? Sometimes we make it small and we're like, it's only a little piece of yoga, but honestly, right now, you guys, it's a huge piece of our practice because we have to move our energies. We have to let this body, this vehicle of this spirit and this soul move. We have to. Otherwise, the mind will get stagnant or get stuck. Place your hands on your hips, push down through your legs, rise up to stand. Good, now wiggle your feet in just a little bit and then turn your feet wide, both of them, and sit down into a high squat. Nice high squat. Knees still pointing at the second toes. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Interweave your palms and press up. Nice, Crystal. Yep. Nice, Lisa, Richie, Lauren. Good. And then come forward again, hands on the floor, turn your feet parallel to each other. And this time, clasp your hands behind your back. Take the arms up and over. Alice, my friend, arms over. Remember, if your shoulders, the head of the shoulders are falling forward, lift the shoulders up and draw them back. Good, Andrea. Yep. Nice, Larry. Touchdown, hands to the floor, Yelena. Walk to the front of your mat, then step back, downward facing dog. Lisa, come forward to plank. Good, hold this, Alana, beautiful. Keep the navel lifted, head lifted. Lauren, beautiful. Lower down, slow to your mat. Slow, slow, slow. Rise up into cobra. Open up your mouth. Stick out your tongue. Tatiana. Back you go. One breath in child's pose. One breath. And up into downward facing dog. The left foot steps forward. Both hands come inside your left foot. And hip circles here. I'm going to shout out to Susan and Marlene and Debbie because I don't see you on camera, but I want you to know I see you. And Judy. Good. And then come to stillness. And I want you to again push your left hip as wide as you can. Wide to the left as you can. And then keep that. And then push your right hip wide. Now draw your chin into your chest, scoop your low belly. So your sit bones are going super wide. Now your navel comes in, your back is rounded, so there's a fullness of breath in your back body. Beautiful, you guys. Good. And then go ahead and step it back to down dog split. Bring your heel to your butt. Open up, stacking the left hip on top of the right. Nice, Jan. Good. And then the soft landing, bring the left foot forward and walk to the right. Nice, Tara. So make sure, Lydia and Linda, you're so cute together. Make sure that your feet are parallel here. And then go ahead and bend one knee. Who's still in Florida? Bend the other knee. Maybe go ahead and do some figure eights here. Nice. Coming to stillness, place your hands on your hips, push down through your legs, rise up to stand. Bring your feet in just a little bit, turn your feet wide, come into high squat, navel stays in. Interweave your palms over the top of your head, reach up. Breathing in and breathing out. Good, inhale so deeply here. Exhale, come on up, turn your feet parallel to each other, bring your hands down to the floor. Clasp your hands behind your back, do your shoulder stretch. Nice, Valerie. Yeah, hands touch down to the floor. Walk to the front of your mat. Either come into squat or into chair. Either way, squeeze and lift the pelvic floor. Get that pelvic floor drawing in and up just for a couple of breaths. Yeah. Have to stay in that tribal connection, that first chakra energy. This whole thing started with survival, right? Oh my God, what is happening? First chakra energy, survival. Hands to the floor. Straighten those legs. Parallel those feet, standing forward bend. Bend your knees deeply. And then push your hips high to the sky with your knees bent. Push your hips high to the sky. Good. Straighten your legs by pressing the tops of your thighs back. Good. Hands on your hips, push down through your legs, rise up to stand. And let your arms drop alongside the body and close your eyes for just a moment. What divides us? The way somebody else wears a mask or doesn't wear a mask? The way that someone stands too close to us? It was never a part of our life 3 months ago. Something new to judge someone else about. I'm right, you're wrong. Hug your right knee into your chest with your eyes open. Right ankle on top of left knee. Sit back to chair. This practice is for me because I'm telling you, my hips are crazy lately. I've been moving from my basement to my upstairs. Good. Clasp your hands behind your back and lean forward. Lean, 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 lean. Watch those shoulders. Wow, good, Elisa. Yep. Good. Rise back up. Nice, Marlene. And release down. I love your smiles, you guys. Thank you for those. All right, let's try the other side. I'm telling you, you would never think that this type of a way to practice together would work. You know, I'm sure I would have been one of those people who'd be like, I don't know if that's going to work. You guys make it work so beautifully. Good. Flex that foot. Sit way back, Lauren, way back. So you're feeling the groins move back. Nice, Nancy. Spread those sit bones like crazy. And then clasp your hands behind you. Andrew, make sure you flex that foot. Pull those toes back. Yes! Clasp your hands behind you. Lean forward. Watch those shoulders. Nice, Crystal. Lean back. I don't know why that sounds surprised. It wasn't surprised. It's just beautiful. Good. And then come all the way back up. All right. Go to the first leg again. So right ankle on top of left knee. Sit back to chair. Flex the foot. Why? That protects the knee and it helps to open that hip really sweetly. Now take your forearms and place them on top of your right shin. Press your forearms on your shin into each other. Susan, pull back your toes too. More, yeah. Good, now reach down, hold that foot and lift it up with that knee, lift up. So that shin comes up towards your belly button. Good, now place that right foot into your right hand and take it into half frog. That's it, Elena, yep. Yep, even if you're wobbling. Remember that standing foot that's wobbling is getting stronger. If you want to send your right sit bone back more, your right hip back more, and start to straighten that leg a little bit, you're certainly welcome to. Good, and release that leg back down. All variations, really cool, you guys. Nice job. Okay, left ankle on top of right knee. Flex the foot. Nicely valve, yep. Good, Susan. Susan Chan, pull that toes back. More. Yeah, that looks so good. All right, here we go. Reach down, lift up that knee. Good, now place it into your left hand. Good, Roz. And now pull that knee back as if you're coming into a half frog. Some of you might want to have a little resistance. You do. And push. Wherever you are, something magical is happening. Nice, Kathy. And release down. Good. Some of you chair, some of you squat. I think the first time I ever got back from India, I had us do like an entire class of squatting. Right? Because it definitely opens the places. You know, this is part of what we don't do enough of. We don't squat enough or chair enough. It's hard for some of us. Your heels can be on a blanket if you'd like. This was what got me right into yoga is when I was 30 years old and I was squatting in my attic and I couldn't do it. And I'm like, wow, that could only get worse. Good, standing forward, Ben. Step back to plank pose. Lower all the way down to your belly. Rise up into cobra. Open your mouth, stick out your tongue if you'd like. Take a breath back into child's pose. And then move into downward facing dog. Good, step your right foot forward, please. Open to Virabhadrasana 2, second warrior. Beautiful. And here, really feel that sense of the pelvis releasing as the spine is lengthening. So I want to release through the pelvis. I want to open up through the sides of my waist, right? I want the breath to feel like it's moving through the sides of my waist, through the sides of my hips. And then lean your left arm down your left leg. Take your right arm up and back. The other way, Jan. Left arm down, your left leg right. Yeah, there you go. Now push your right knee forward like crazy. Push. Good, watch that front knee, Joy. Keep it pointing at that second toe. There you go. And then bring your right forearm down to your right thigh. Bring your left arm over your ear. You've been in that bent knee for a little bit. Let it sink. Pull the navel in. Good, let those hands touch down to the floor. Step back, downward facing dog. Vinyasa of your choice, which might mean rest on your knees. Nice, Anne and friend. Beautiful, Susan. Yep. Make it your own. Good. As you feel ready, Fred. Good job. Left foot forward, open up. Virabhadrasana 2. Left foot forward, Vira 2. And again, most of you have been in classes with me in person, and I enjoy the idea of bending your back knee here for a moment too. So there's a real release and letting go in the pelvis. And then at the same time, your spine grows long. And then slide your right arm down your right leg. Take your left arm up and back, but keep your left knee coming forward. Gorgeous. And then send your left forearm onto your left thigh. Take your right arm over your ear. Straighten that back leg if you haven't. Right. Press that left forearm down into your left thigh so you can lift your whole side ribs up a little bit more, Larry. A little more come up those ribs. Yeah. Breathe in. Nice, Nancy. Touch down, downward facing dog. And again, vinyasa of your choice. What is creating more peace in the world? My judgment of someone else? My criticism of someone else? My way or their way? Good. All right, right foot steps forward again. Open up Virabhadrasana 2. And then straighten that right leg. And come on into triangle pose, Trikonasana. And again, the awareness, nice Linda, the awareness of that head, right? If you want to drop it because your head just feels like it's too heavy and you want to drop it, that's fine. But have an awareness of what you're doing with it. And then bend that right knee and come forward into Ardha Chandrasana. Use a block underneath your right hand if you have one handy. And then maybe bend that back knee and reach for that back ankle and kick your hand into that foot. Maybe stay right where you are. Nice. Watch those shoulders. Pull those ribs in. Nice, Alice. Yep. Strong, strong here, Jackie. Beautiful. Step back again onto your left foot. Bend your right knee. And now you can either take your right hand down to the floor or replace your right forearm on your right thigh, left arm over your ear side angle again. Maybe even bind. Some of you might want to reach your arm inside. Take your left arm behind you and bind. Watch those shoulders. Good. Gentle release. Nice release the downward facing dog. And again, take it through plank. Lower down to your belly, rise up into cobra. Beautiful, everybody. Ruchi, beautiful. Left foot forward. Vera 2, second warrior. Set yourself up well. Breathe deeply here. Connect with who you are. Maybe bend the back knee for a moment. Yeah, and then go to straight. Nice job, you guys. Then go straight on both legs, and then reach for triangle pose, Trikonasana. See how you can breathe into those upper ribs. What happens when the upper ribs expand? Can you push that breath down into your belly when you're breathing? And then go ahead and bend your front knee and take it into half moon. Maybe reach for that ankle. Maybe stay right where you are. What is the blueprint we're leaving? What is the legacy we're leaving? The Om is our beginning, our middle, our end, and our stillness all at once. As you step back, bend that front knee and take it maybe into a deeper side angle. Maybe the hand comes to the floor. But guys, deeper doesn't mean that you feel yourself or you feel stuck. So if I drop my hand down and I feel completely stuck in that hip, that's not deeper. So maybe my left forearm, nice too. Maybe my left forearm stays on my left thigh. Maybe I bind, nice Tara. Yep. Yeah, the work you guys are doing is incredible. Relax it here, step back, downward facing dog, and drop down to your knees, press back to child's pose. Like you're doing no less the work, right? That's incredible. Incredible work. I was saying that too, right? The work that we're doing behind closed doors matters. It really, really matters. We've all made a place in our house where we practice. And I don't know that that was the case before. We practiced in the studios, right? Now we have a special place in our home that's dedicated to meditation, pranayama, asana. That's incredible, the vibration of our homes, our communities. There's something happening big here. And we want to remember not to get caught up in the drama. Right? My teacher Manorama would say, remember Rama. If you remember the drama, you won't remember Rama. What's Rama? Our God self. If you want Rama, release the drama. I'm not saying don't act in the world. I'm not saying stand up for what we believe in, what we need, the change we need to see. We got to do that. That's action in the world. That's being that Arjuna. Watch how you get caught up. Judgment, criticism. My way is better than your way. Good, you guys. Downward facing dog. Some of you are going to go ahead and turn over onto your backs for pigeon. Otherwise, right knee is going to come forward for pigeon. Right knee comes behind your right wrist. And squeeze your knees toward each other. So you almost feel yourself hydraulically lifting off the floor, like this is pulling up from the floor. Your toes are pressing into the floor, so the feet are extremely active. And then come on forward here onto your forehead. If you're on your back, it's right ankle on top of left knee. Right knee forward pigeon. Yeah. We've been doing a lot of cleaning out, moving ourselves upstairs since my daughter moved into her new house. We moved back upstairs and I found this little something from Rumi. If you could know yourself for just 1 second, if you could just glimpse your most beautiful face, maybe you wouldn't slumber so deeply in the house of clay. Maybe you would move into your house of joy and shine in every crevice, for you are the secret treasure bearer and always have been. Didn't you know? Didn't you know? Well, why did you forget? It's Rumi. Keep your right hip pushed out to the right. Keep your left hip pushed out to the left. So you're widening your hips away from each other. Walk yourself back up. And then reach back with your left hand your right hand for your left ankle. You're doing a little twisting thigh stretch. If that's not possible, you can always put your hand at your low back. So you're twisting to the right. You're squeezing your knees in like crazy, scooping your low belly, but pushing your outer hips wide. I know, I'm asking a lot. Nice, everybody. Gentle release, navel stays in, and back you go, downward dog. If you're on your back, you can stay there for the second side. We're going to take the left knee forward for pigeon, or go through a vinyasa of choice for sure. Make sure your left knee is all the way over by your left wrist. So your hips are square. Nice, Dana. Yep. And then squeeze your knees toward each other. So you have this lifting up. So your pelvis actually feels like it's lifting away from the floor. Navel in, shoulders back. And then begin to walk yourself forward. Again, forehead. Enjoy your breath. Enjoy your surroundings. It is pretty beautiful, right, to be in your own home setting, and whatever comes into your practice today is meant to be in your practice today. Whatever animal or child or thought or emotion, that's what your practice is meant to be today. Otherwise, we think we should have a perfect practice that looks like this. No, your perfect practice is the one that you're doing right now with whoever and whomever is around you. Good. Walk yourself back up and taking that twisting thigh stretch. If you're on your back, stay where you are. Remember, this twisting thigh stretch, I really like to think about it stretching your shoulder too. So feel like the foot is pulling your shoulder back and you're still squeezing your knees in toward each other. Yep. Your hand can come on your sacrum as well. Nice job, everybody. Good. Watch that right shoulder that it doesn't fall in. Keep that right shoulder back too. So much to do here, you guys. Good, gently release. And then I would like for you to send your back leg forward and then lie on your back, come into happy baby pose. Reach for your insteps. Thanks, everyone. Appreciate that. Sometimes when you guys go down onto the floor, I can't see any longer. Good. Now press your low back into the floor. Press up through your heels, widen through your knees. And sing a happy tune. Good. Now place your left foot back down on the floor. Keep the knee bent. Left foot down on the floor, knee bent. You're in half happy baby. Good. Now move your shin, cross your belly so that your right foot maybe comes into your left elbow crease. So you just hold the foot with your left hand. And you keep that foot flexed. Really important. Keep the foot flexed. Yeah. Good. Now start to work that right knee underneath that right shoulder. So take the right knee, the shoulder under, I should say differently, the right shoulder under the knee. Yep, totally. You can lift your head up here, squeeze your navel in, and see what happens if you start to bring that shin, Fred, back as far as it'll go toward that back of your head, almost like you're going to take the shin and wrap it behind your head. You can push down through your left foot a lot to engage this. And then gently release. Good. Put both feet on the mat and with both knees bent and breathe. All right, second side now. So bring your left knee into half happy baby. Push down through your right foot. Same idea, start to work the shin across you for just a moment. So maybe you're going to put the foot into your opposite elbow crease. And that's pretty deep. So some of you just hold your hand holder, but keep that foot flexed. And then as you bring it back, start to work your shoulder underneath. Maybe lift your head, squeeze your navel in. You still want to, even though I'm working that really deeply into that hip, I still want to widen that hip. I still want to pull that hip nice and wide. I want to breathe deeply. Yes, so nice. And then gently release. Very nice. Yep. Okay. Now lift your feet off the mat and come into a frog in the air. So feet up. So the feet turn slightly wide. Navel in. Hands behind your head. Navel in. Widen sit bones. Widen. Pull your hips apart. And now lift your head, neck, and chest. Squeeze your navel in towards your heart. Push your sit bones wide. Not easy. Not easy. Kitty cat's wandering. Good. Head back down. Hug your knees into your chest. One big breath here. Big, big breath. And then squeeze your legs wide again, but instead of frog, this time wide legs like a V, and flex your feet. Hands behind your head. Good. Squeeze your legs energetically toward each other. Widen your sit bones away from each other. Lift your head, neck, and chest. Pull your navel up towards your heart, but push your seat wide. Lower your head, hug your knees into your chest. Nice spread. Yep. Tatiana, beautiful joy. Good. Now take your right knee on top of your left knee. Instead of ankle to knee, knee to knee. There you go. Okay. Now squeeze your knees in towards your chest. Put your hands on the floor. Squeeze your shins toward each other. Pull your seat away, your butt. Widen your hips away from each other, but squeeze your shins toward each other. Pull your navel in. Lift your chest up. Breathe. Good. Place your hands behind your head. Good. Now lift your head up. Pull your elbows up toward the ceiling. Elbows to the ceiling. Let your head, the weight of your head, drop into your hands. Elbows toward the ceiling. Squeeze in. Relax everything down. Change other knee on top. Squeeze the shins. Widen the seat. Pull the navel in. Arms alongside the body. Breathe. Good. Hands behind your head. Lift your head. Squeeze your elbows toward the ceiling. So when your elbows go toward the ceiling, I can actually drop my head back more and let the weight of my head drop into my hands. Squeeze those shins. And release down. Knees are bent. Constructive rest pose. Knees are bent. What allows us to have a conversation and what deadens the conversation? Allows us to have a conversation. You be you and I'll be me. Okay, so the knees are bent, arms alongside the body. Press the hips up to the sky. Clasp your hands underneath you, bridge pose. Press the head back, strengthen the neck. Good. And lower all the way back down. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees drop open. Breathe in and breathe out through a soft belly here. Love this story that Ram Dass tells. This is from Polishing the Mirror. The title is Dealing with Change. It said an older man is walking down the street and he hears a voice saying, "Psst, could you help me out?" He looks around, but he doesn't see anyone. Again, he hears, "Psst, could you help me out?" He looks down and there's a big frog. He's embarrassed. I mean, you don't talk to frogs. But he says, "Did you just speak to me?" And the frog says, "Yeah, could you help me out?" "Well, what's the problem?" "I'm under a curse, and if you pick me up and kiss me, I will turn back into a beautiful maiden, and I will serve you and cook for you and warm your bed, and I will be everything you ever wanted." The man stood there for a little while. Then he picked up the frog and he put it in his pocket and walked on. After a while, the frog said, "Hey, you forgot to kiss me." The man said, "You know, at my age, I think it's more interesting to have a talking frog." This idea of change in energy. The sound of Om reminds us that everything is always moving. Nothing is ever held stagnant. Bring the knees together, hug your knees into your chest. Good. So challenge yourself to roll up to squat. Might be a little messy. Might be a little messy. Good. Again, thank you for your smiles. Come down to your seat and stretch your legs nice and wide. Good. So bend your knees a little bit here and come on up to your heels. So bend your knees and come on up to your heels. And then put your hands in front of you and lift your seat and send it back a little bit. Good. Now place your right arm inside your right leg, left arm up to the sky. So twist. Push into your knee and your arm. Keep the knees bent. Dig those heels down, draw them back. Knees are bent. Good, and then try the other side. Squeeze the knee and the arm. Good, come on up, push your legs to straight by pressing the tops of your thighs down. Push your legs to straight, and then come forward any amount. And again, some of you, not again, I haven't said it yet, but some of you might need a blanket underneath your seat. Enjoy your breath here. In any moment you feel still quite stuck in your low back, you can always rebend your knees and work from your spine as opposed from instead of your hamstrings, right? Always bend your knees and let your spine feel that length. And remember, one part of your spine, the lowest part of your spine, is going to anchor you down. Right above that is going to lift up for you. One part of your spine is going to anchor you to the floor. The other part is going to lift you up and extend. And then walk your right arm to your inner right thigh, inner right leg. Take your left arm over your ears, so side stretch. Now really press into your left hip a lot. I'm not coming off my seat. And again, awareness of your head. I'm okay if you drop it. You need to drop it. Otherwise, align it by pulling it back, throat back. Good. Now fall over your right leg. Fall over that right leg. Beautiful. Long, deep breathing. Come back through center. And go to the other side. Left arm inside the left leg, right arm over your ear, side stretch. And again, you want to keep that right sit bone wide. You want to keep your right seat connected to the floor. And bow over that leg, please. Keep pushing the seat back as you extend the spine forward. Even breathe those left ribs a little longer. Beautiful, you guys. Come back to center and come on up. Okay, now you're either going to take your right shin on top of your left shin. It's called Agni Savasana, or your right shin in front of your left shin. So cross-legged position, right shin in front or right shin on top. And you're going to be flexing your feet no matter which position you're trying. So move, Tatiana, move your feet more underneath your knees. There you go. Okay, flex your feet a lot. Pull your toes back, everybody. Maybe even take your hands behind you, lift your seat and send it back a little bit. Susan T, make sure your top foot is really flexed. So pull those toes back if you're standing on that foot. Yeah. I might even take that shin in front as opposed to on top. See how it feels? Yeah, see how it feels to now move forward. See what it feels like to lean forward. Susan G, also make sure that foot is really flexed on top. Pull those toes. Yeah, thank you. Good. Breathing in. Nice, Alice. Yeah, push those hips back. Nice, Allison. Beautiful. Breathe, 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 breathe. Right, in India, a lot of the people that are working, that I saw working on sculptures and stuff, they would work in the squat. The whole day would be in a squat. Really nice, you guys. Inhale, come on up. And now we either want to take the other shin on top or the other shin in front. So switch to the other side. Make sure both feet are flexed here. Super important. Why? Especially if we're doing shin in front of shin, right? Which means the hips are a little tighter. That's me, right? You got to keep those feet flexed because that's going to get your shin to activate so your knee will stay safe. Maybe take your hands behind you and send your hips back again. Either stay upright or come forward any amount. Beautiful breathing here, please. We do such powerful work as yogis, right? We meet ourselves where we are. We trust that we're transforming and we're growing ourselves. Sometimes the world just gets really hard, really hard. We want to always turn back to ourselves and see, am I pointing the finger at someone else, or am I really looking at myself, where my anger lies, where my judgment lies? Am I making the world a better place with judgment and criticism and pointing the finger? Good. Inhale, come on up. And then I want you to bring your feet out in front of you. Plant your feet. Then lean back until the feet come off the floor. Lean back. And then feel either the knees can stay bent, or you can go ahead and start to straighten the legs and then take the arms forward. Boat pose. So the feet are off the floor, Tatiana. Feet up off the floor. Lean back. And again, knees can stay bent if you'd like. Send your chest forward a lot, a lot, a lot. Good. And then very, very slowly start to bring your legs toward the floor and your head toward the floor. So lean down, lean down, lean down, and then come back up. Oops. And then lay toward the floor like you're going to rest on the floor. And then come back up. One more time, you guys. You're laughing because you're not doing it. Good. Come back up and then lie yourself on your back. I've done it before, I promise. Hug your knees into your chest. If you'd like. So I'm going to give you two options here, and you can do them both or none of them. One is to lift your hips up and take your toes behind you into Halasana. So there's a really nice stretch for the low back just to end the practice. That's one choice. The other is to bring your knees into your chest and lift and shift your hips to the right and let your knees drop to the left. So either plow pose first, just a nice little stretch for that low back. If that's like, I'm no way I feel like doing that, then go ahead, hug your knees into your chest and take your hips to the right and your knees to the left for spinal twist. Or both, right? So you can definitely take the plow pose and then come on down, roll down one vertebra at a time, and then shift your hips to the right, let your knees drop to the left. Switch to the other side. If any of you are thinking about doing teacher training this year and now you're afraid with everything that's happening, we are actually meeting today to have a beautiful way to present teacher training so that we'll all feel safe and taken care of. If it's something that's been on your mind, please contact me and I can chat with you about it. Starts in September. Good. So twisting both sides, and when you're done, go ahead, stretch your legs out. Close your eyes. Shavasana. And begin to deepen your breath. Let your body stretch and yawn in any way that serves you well. If you're lying on your back, hug your knees into your chest, roll to the right side, and come on up to sit. When I touch that place inside of myself where I exist in pure love, and I see you there, the place where we commit to as yogis. I trust each and every one of us doing this most profound work. And in these weeks to come, in these months to come, these years to come, things are not going to be easy. I promise that. It's not going to be easy, but we have the tools, we have the community. We certainly are born with what we need to achieve what it is that we wish to see. We'll close with the sound of Om, deep breath in. Release your hands and open your eyes.
Namaste.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thank you,
You're
Sheryl.
welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thank
Hey, everybody.